3, 2, 1, end of test. King with a go.
Well, hello there, and welcome to another edition of Warbird Wednesday. My name is Fred Bell. I am the Vice Chairman of the Palm Springs Air Museum, and today we are literally talking about the big kahuna in the what I call wood and kite department, and that would be the Curtiss Jenny. Specifically, we're going to focus in on the JN-3, which was a really a very good machine. Now, before we do that, I told Jason, my videographer, that I was going to kill him off camera because this is probably the deal was, I understand the hats and the COVID thing and everything. This is probably one of the most humiliating hats I have ever worn. And Jason is trying not to smile. And so my Reb and Bardiv assistant, I probably butchered that one, but I'm going to go ahead and get this thing off my head, and we'll throw it crossways across the camera. Good job there, Rebardative assistant. We're going to try that again. All right, so we're talking about the Curtiss Jenny now. We're going to use the faithful Newport, the 28, again as the stand-in for the good old Jenny. I'll throw up a plan view. Greg can throw up a plan view of the JN-3. Now, the Curtiss Jenny is, why do I call it the big kahuna? It is the at the build rate of 6,183, one of the most prolific aircraft built in that early World War I, kind of coming out of World War I time frame. Incredibly prolific. It is also a really good machine. It was designed by Glenn Curtiss. He did an absolutely fantastic job. It was put into service in 1915. It was retired in 1927. Now, the thing that you have to realize about the JN-3 is, and the Jenny line, is that this aircraft really sparked the imagination with Barnstormers and all kinds of guys flying these in the United States. They were used for mail carriers, mail runs. This is the airplane that was really the backbone of American aviation when it came back. And the reason for that was there were so many of them. They were surplus for as little. Now, there's a big difference in the amount of money, but $50 an airplane. You could buy a Curtiss Jenny, a running Jenny, for $50. Now, it is an equal span biplane. It's not one of those sesquiplane aircraft. It did not climb well. It was a fairly docile airplane, fairly heavy, but it didn't climb well. But it was just durable and tough, and it was one of the best trainers ever made. None of them, now, believe it or not, none of these aircraft saw combat in World War I, which is interesting. You think there's so many of them. They were strictly a behind-the-line aircraft and all these utility roles and training. Never saw combat. It was very slow. Jason, how slow do you think it was? How slow was it, Jason? It flew at 75 miles an hour. This was a very, very slow beast, but it was really a workhorse aircraft. And that brings me to my salute. And my salute today, my young videographer, is, do you know of the great Waldo Pepper? Did you ever see Waldo Pepper? Did you see the movie? I love that movie. Now, the salute today is to the Barnstormers, the guys that came back, and girls that came back from World War I and barnstormed across the United States. For a quarter, you could get a ride in an airplane, and they did everything from wing walking to airmail, to all kinds of stuff. But we wouldn't have had the American love affair with aircraft if it weren't for the Jenny and people like the great Waldo Pepper, all of those Barnstormers that flew all over the United States and exposed a lot of kids in the Midwest and those areas to these airplanes. And, you know, you can go back and say thank you to Glenn Curtis. But to the Barnstormers, we're going to salute you. And today we're going to do with, it just gets better. Not only do I have the hat, I have the drink. Kickapoo Joy Juice. Really? Get that kick with Kickapoo. Okay. Best by 5/7, I think 26. So this isn't like the half-empty destroyed bottle that you gave me last week. That was kind of interesting. It does have California Redemption. Okay. 160 calories. I have no idea what's in Kickapoo Joy Juice. It did fizz a little bit. That was kind of fun. Now, let's go ahead and, to all you Barnstormers, I'm going to take one for the team here. I salute you with my Joy Juice here. There you go. That's not bad. It's kind of like a 7-Up type taste. Well, that actually isn't bad. To the Barnstormers, again, much better than that swill you gave me last week. But to Barnstormers out there, thank you so much. Now, the interesting thing about the Jenny was also 95% of the trainees from the United States Air Force, actually the Army Air Force at that time, pardon me, flew Jennies. Think about that for a minute. Again, standardization. Now, the Jenny had a couple of other interesting things. In 1917, what did it do, Jason? It was the first radiophone aircraft-to-aircraft communication. So that's kind of interesting. In 1918, it was used for airmail routes, so a lot of firsts. Now remember, like I said, 75 miles an hour, no navigation, nothing. You're up there freezing your stuff off, and you're freezing your airmail off, and you are following those concrete arrows in the ground. If you've ever seen them, you can still find some of them across the United States where they use for these airmail routes. And then the most interesting thing is the JN-4 was the first aircraft to do a dive bombing attack in Haiti in 1919. And then they went off into history. Now, there are some surviving Jennies around. They're one of the more prolific aircraft, so you can't see them both in museums and across the world, really. There are a number of museums in Europe and the United States. Some of them are still flying. So if you can catch one of those. Now, if you can't get a Jenny, you can build this exciting model that has a history of aviation. And I don't see this stuff before we shoot. I'm actually looking for a Jenny on this one, and I don't see one. But this has a lot of World War I era biplanes all the way up. It's got pre-war Zeppelins, hot air balloons, got all kinds of stuff. This is a puzzle that you want. So if you want to get something cool like this, click on the gift link. Jason will happily run down to the store or run down to the post office and mail this to you. He would be excited to get it to you. So do that. Now, we cannot do all of this standing in front of one of the early World War II aircraft, the P-40. We cannot do all this stuff, restore them and take care of them without your donation. So click on that donation link, send us a few bucks. We can appreciate that. If you came across us on YouTube or Facebook and you like extremely low production aviation videos with people with hot dogs strapped to their heads, we are your channel. Forward us off to people who like Warbird videos and really low production one take stuff, because that's what we are, and we will happily fill that role. If you're teaching the kiddos at home, look at that aviation link and download one of those aviation guides, those teachers guides. We have history, engineering, all kinds of stuff. You can teach the kids at home about aviation, and we would love to help you do that free of charge. My name is Fred Bell. I am the Vice Chairman of the Palm Springs Air Museum. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
3, 2, 1, end of test. King with a go.
Day, all my fears have gone away. I guess this means I'm here to stay. Yeah, I'm ready to fly, ready to fly. Wasn't long ago I shook at the thought of being hooked. But ever since I wrote my book, I'm ready to fly, ready to fly. Come along and join us, we can plug you in a simulator. We'll teach you how to dance and be the perfect imitator. We'll give away all your music to the operator. We were born with a light to shine, and we can do it in our lifetime. And we get the balance right. Oh, we're riding on the satellite. Satellite. Down the park, saw them hitting the beat. The sound that emanated, it was really sweet. Told them of a shyer man bitten twice, and gave a little old school good advice. Pretending's not the thing, got to be yourself. Honesty, integrity, happiness and health. Bending to the needs of others ain't the way. Be true to yourself and let the music play. Come along and join us, we can plug you in a simulator. We'll teach you how to dance and be the perfect imitator.